Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thanks a lot. Let's make sure. Okay, yeah, okay, good, good. You good folks can see my screen. Good evening, everyone. Evening in my part of the world could be very early in the morning, your part of the world. Those of you who are up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock your time. And for those of you, my Kiwis out there and my Australians out there, that it maybe is the next day, Singapore, I believe I heard. Welcome to tonight's webinar. Now, typically what we do on Tuesday nights is we do a presentation webinar of a video platform that it's the first time we've really seen this in the home business space where a company is looking to model after YouTube. All right, looking to model after YouTube. And I'm going to do just about a 10-minute spiel here. If you happen to be here for the first time, if maybe someone invited you to tonight's webinar and you've not yet aligned with them with this new video platform, or maybe you've just aligned but you don't really know what the heck is going on. So I'm going to give you a very, very quick spiel, and then I want to move into more of a training atmosphere, training mode, because there's a new income stream that this system is launching, and I want our folks to understand it. So we're going to have a discussion about that, and then we'll also talk about the most innovative tool that I've ever seen in my 20 plus years in the industry. And that, over that time period, we struggled like most people out of the gate, and we finally started, figuring things out. Over the last decade, we've been able to develop five seven-figure businesses. So we use a lot of tools in our day-to-day business. There's some tools we are just never going to be without. We're never going to be without our email autoresponder. We've had the same autoresponder since 2003, so now 13 years. I've got a video blog type of platform that I use. Those of you who are in our list and you see us sending out frequent messages throughout the week, I'm using that platform. Never going to be without that. And I'm going to tell you now that RAS is a system that none of you ever want to be without. We'll talk a little bit more about that just a little bit further down the road in tonight's webinar. Now, the first thing I want to do real quickly, I tell you what, let's do this for our new folks. Bear with me. Let's do this for our new folks. Let's just kind of give you a quick sense of what's going on with this new video platform. All right, and what I want to do is I just want to compare real quickly to YouTube. So back in 2005, April 2005 is when YouTube got its, is when YouTube, actually not April 2005, February actually 2005, excuse me, let's go back. February 14th of 2005, YouTube was founded, okay? February 14th, 2005, YouTube was founded. And the very first video did not even get loaded on YouTube until a couple of months later, April 2005. And here's one of the original founders of YouTube, young guy, Jawed Karim. The first video that was done was only 18 seconds long. This was him when he was at the San Diego Zoo. And so when you get an opportunity, I'd love for you to go to YouTube and just in the search bar. YouTube now is the second largest search engine behind Google. Google now owns YouTube. Google, I'm sorry, or YouTube, in the YouTube search, first ever YouTube video, okay? And the reason I want you to do that is so that you can get a sense of how YouTube first launched. What did YouTube look like in its infancy? Because, most of us now, by the time we even came onto YouTube and we started watching videos, some of us maybe even load videos up. Some of us maybe even do some promotional things with YouTube. By the time we came to YouTube, YouTube had gone through its, growing pains, had already dealt with a lot of the stuff that any new company deals with. And so we look at YouTube and it's the model and we say, okay, well, this new company is modeling after YouTube, so it should be just like YouTube. Well, no, not right out of the gate. Okay, it takes a little while, right? And so in any event, something happened right before we came on. I had a post, and I think I hit the wrong link, They gave me these links that I was going to cover to show you what YouTube is now worth, and my links disappeared. So give me a moment. Let me see if I can find that real quickly. Bear with me. Let me just let me go Google YouTube's worth. Give me just a moment. That's old. That's old. That's old. This is it. All right, give us just a moment, please. Okay, this is what I want to show. Okay, so now, when you get the opportunity, go to YouTube and check out that first video. All right, go to YouTube and check out that first video. Now, the point I want to make. Give me a moment here. Now, I'm on a blog, so there's going to be some political ads there, and we're certainly not here to play the political game. Hopefully, those of you in the U.S., no matter what your affiliation is or who you plan on voting for, we certainly are not going to get into that conversation. That's a that's a polarizing conversation. But hopefully, you will exercise your right to vote, whoever you vote for. Okay, so here's the deal. All right, so YouTube, February 2005, by April 2005, how the heck did that happen? Why does that keep happening? Bear with me. It's jumping down to an ad. I don't know why that's happening. I may have to keep my cursor here so it doesn't jump, okay? All right, so what I want you to see here is what is YouTube worth now, all right? And you can see, depending on, who the pundits are, at the bottom there, YouTube worth, based on average of online estimates, $77 billion. And that right there, the second one, YouTube worth based on revenue, $104 billion. So they are saying that YouTube is worth anywhere from $77 billion to $104 billion. Now, if you were to go back and watch that first video, I don't think there's one person on the webinar, if we could go way back then, would have said, oh, this is going to ultimately be a $100 billion property, YouTube. Not million, not 104 million, 104 billion with a B, okay? And so with that being said, back in June of this year, mid-June of this year, something came across our desk about this new platform. And what they were looking to do is they were looking to model after YouTube, where we would go to the platform and we would watch videos and let's see here. I'll pick something here. This is a recipe type video, what have you. So we come here, we watch this video. I'm not going to show the whole thing here, but what you would see is you would see advertisements on the right hand side. As you scroll down, you'd see advertisements here. And even when you view most of the videos, I'm just going to click play. I'm going to pause it. Okay. This one actually doesn't have a commercial, but most of these are going to have a commercial maybe before the video starts. Sometimes if it's a longer video, there'll be a commercial in the middle. All right, so you might have a commercial that begins the video, then the video starts. And if it's a longer video, then a commercial comes in the middle, maybe a 30-second commercial, what have you. And then at the end, very often, there is a commercial. Well, what that is, the reason YouTube is valued as much as $104 billion is because all the advertising revenue they generate. And so this new platform called THW Global, their aim is to build up a huge user base watching video content so they can attract more and more and more advertisers. And what they're saying is, look, what we'll do is instead of putting all of that in our pocket, we're going to pay you, the content users, the content viewers, I should say, those of us that are willing to take our time and view the videos, see the commercials, and maybe do business with the people and the brands that we're seeing, they're going to pay us. Now, I'm going to start rounding third with this in just a few moments. I've got a lot of training I need to do. All right, so you're going to get back with the person that referred you to tonight's webinar if you're a newbie and if you've not yet registered with THW Global. Now in terms of compensation, there's 8 ways that THW Global is going to pay out. I'm not going to cover all 8 right now. I will tell you that here's the big target, all right? The big target all right, is for folks as they are viewing to earn as much as or up to $25 an hour viewing the content, because in the content, interwoven in the content, interwoven into the videos, are these commercials. Okay, now are we there yet? Can you sit down and expect, hey, if I spend 10 hours this week viewing content, I'm going to make $250 US dollars this week. Man, if I do that 4 weeks out of the month, I'm going to make $1,000 a month. That is the target. Big words here, in time. All right, in time. I don't expect anybody to make $25 an hour out of the gate. I don't expect anybody to make $15 an hour out of the gate, because just like YouTube was in its infancy, all right, THW Global, the company, is in its infancy. We are in a pre-launch period, and so I don't expect that out of the gate. All right, down the road, with each passing month, what we should see is that you earn a little more and a little more and a little more, and hopefully we ultimately get to the point where we're earning $25 an hour, or basically about $1,000 a month, for simply viewing the content. Now, there's other ways that we make money. You can refer others, which is completely optional, something you're going to want to do. And then as others view, you get an override. All right, so they may make whatever they make per hour. Let's say $25 an hour. We know that's not the figure that anybody's going to get right out of the gate. All right, so I'm putting all my disclaimers out there. All right, but if the time comes where John, Mary, Susan made $25 for the hour, and you referred John, Mary, Susan, then you would make $5 as they viewed their content. Now think that through. Now this allows you to leverage other people's time. Okay, and so if they don't make $25 an hour, you're going to get whatever the pro rata share happens to be, so on and so forth. So I want to make sure this is very clear, and then we're going to get into our other training. I want to make sure this is very clear. All right, this is the target. This is the goal in time as the system matures. Is the system mature now? No, she's a little baby. All right, she's just a few months old. Matter of fact, she can't really even hold her head up just yet. We are viewing. We see that the company has invested millions of dollars into the platform, but we're just getting started. All right, so we don't have the huge advertising dollars coming into the system just yet. Howbeit, I will say this, and I'll give me just a moment. Let me pull up this site. And I apologize that some of these sites weren't pulled up before. I will say this though. Here is a third-party site that has evaluated based on the traffic that THW Global is getting. And this third-party site is valuing THW Global at just under $92 million. And that's based on traffic that comes to the site, how long people are staying on the site, so on and so forth. So this is what I want you to do if you're a newbie and you are not yet a part of THW Global. I want you to connect with the person that's responsible for getting you on tonight's webinar. Say, doggone it, hurry up and send me the link so I can register. You're going to register for free. All right, you're going to register for free. And now what we're going to talk about in just a moment is an optional income stream that I want all of us to strongly consider being a part of, and that's where we're going to start the transition and start talking about that. All right. Now, as we get into that conversation, that discussion, what I want to do real quickly, should I do that now? No, I'll do that later. Okay. All right. So, so we're now officially transitioning. I wanted to do that first part because we've always built our Tuesday night webinars as a presentation. And, we've got a lot of folks on the webinar. Don't know how many of them are guests that have never seen THW Global, but at least that should give you some sense of where we are with THW Global, enough for you to go on and for you to register for free. Okay. Now, let's have more discussion now. Okay. All right. So June 16th of this year is when THW Global crossed my desk. And when it crossed my desk, at the time on the homepage, it was a very simple one-page write up, and it talked about earning up to $25 an hour, watching better than YouTube videos. And I've got to be honest with you, I didn't know if it was gold or if it was crap. As a matter of fact, we had a webinar series that said, is it crap or is it gold? We don't know. Okay. Immediately, what we did was we put together an email. We sent it out to our email list, and before you know it, within 24 hours, we had probably a couple of thousand folks that had registered either through our link or through somebody else's link as a part of our following, what have you. And maybe a week or so later, we were getting close to 10,000. And my gosh, it just absolutely went crazy. Now, earlier on, around July 4th-ish or so, 4th-ish, okay, what was communicated was that in order for countries outside of the U.S., because at that time the U.S. was leading in terms of the number of people that were registered from any one country. There was the U.S., there was Russia, there was the Philippines. They were all running pretty closely there. And then ultimately Vietnam came into play. I think Vietnam became like number 4, so on and so forth. And so what they were saying at the time is that in order for you to be able to view in your specific country and to be able to start earning, that your country is going to have 50,000 registered users, all right? Folks that had registered for free so that they could start viewing the content, all right? And not just registered users, but they also had to have taken what's called a demographic survey. Now, what the survey is, the survey takes about 5 minutes, but what it does, you communicate to THW Global the interest that you have in certain categories, so that what they're serving to you in terms of videos with the ads is more congruent with things that you would be interested in. So for instance, I'm a big sports guy, all right? So, I let them know I was interested in sports. You can let them know if you're interested in politics, and if so, what side of the aisle you might lean towards. Are you more liberal? Are you more conservative? So once again, you would be viewing content that's more congruent with your interests. Are you interested in cooking, baking, camping, all these good things? All right. So what they said was you were going to have 50,000. Not people who had just registered, but also taken the demographic survey, okay, before they were going to turn on viewing in that particular area, because they were going to need to have enough people in that area to view to help support the advertising. Then all of a sudden, what happened is this thing just really took off. Let me show you something real quickly. Give me a moment. All right, so what happened is that all of a sudden, the numbers went absolutely berserk. You can see that worldwide, just under 1.5 million folks have actually registered, all right, which is a free registration, and just under 700,000 have actually filled out the demographic survey. Now, the first few weeks, there was no demographic survey to fill out. If the demographic survey had been available those first few weeks, probably would have had a much larger percentage of folks from registration to survey that would have filled that out. Okay, so here is what was communicated to us, what we communicated to our audience is, hey, if you're in Malaysia, all right, if you're in the Dominican Republic, if you're in Panama, it may be a while before you start viewing. We got to get 50,000, not just registered folks, but folks that have filled out the profiles, okay? Well, all of a sudden, there were folks in over 200 countries that were being represented, okay? And this is my conjecture. This is me talking. This is not anything I got from corporate. This is me. So if I'm wrong, this is me, okay? And if I'm wrong, it's not because I intend to be wrong, okay? This is what I believe happened. What I believe happened was THW Global saw all of these people from all these countries that wanted to view. And they said, okay, this is what we're going to do, is we're going to allow everyone to view, all right? Or a good segment of those countries. I know at least at one time, at least 70 countries were viewing. And I was really curious because some of the countries that were viewing, like Dominica is a country in the Caribbean. And I know they don't have a lot. I mean, the population there is very small. Belize was on the list. And I'm thinking, shoot, my wife and I, we've been to Belize, great country. We actually even considered relocating to live in Belize. But one of the reasons we didn't is because they only have 300,000 folks in Belize. And we said, shoot, my hometown has 300,000 folks. That's small for an entire country. And so, but some of these countries were turned on. And, you know, we thought it was a big win. All right. So even if you were in Belize, hey, you can start viewing, you can start earning money and what have you. The other thing that happened is that early on, what was going to happen is the amount that you made viewing was going to be relative to the country that you lived with. And this is what we always communicated to our audience. If you take a look at someone in the U.S., the average after-tax income for someone in the U.S. is something like, I forget the exact number, but it's something like $2,800 US, okay, a month. The average after-tax income for someone in the Philippines is something like 350 some odd US dollars when you convert that into US dollar measurement, okay? So obviously, an advertising to a Filipino audience would likely spend a lot less in advertising than an advertising to a US-based audience. And I can tell you, for instance, when I've done marketing, when I've done advertising, it's cheaper for me to advertise to a non-US based audience, particularly if it's outside of the big five. The big five in marketing would be the US, Canada, the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. Why? Because those are English-speaking countries and still online in terms of the home business arena, the network marketing arena, the internet marketing arena, all right? Those countries tend to give you the biggest bang for your buck because most of the information is in English. Obviously, there are countries that are just kicking butt in more offline network marketing, especially parts of Asia and South America. But online, those are the five big countries that you tend to target when you are promoting. But if I were to say, okay, let's say I went to Facebook and instead of trying to target the US or Canada or what have you, let's say I wanted to target the Philippines, or I wanted to target Malaysia, or I wanted to target the Dominican Republic or Panama, I would spend a lot less in advertising targeting those areas. So originally what was going to happen is you weren't even going to be able to view if you were not in one of the big countries that already had over 50,000 viewers, one. Two, what you were going to make was going to be relative to what the country you were in, so that a person viewing in the Philippines spent the same time but didn't make as much money as somebody viewing in the US because the Philippines didn't garner as much in terms of advertising revenue. So THW Global gave us a really big win. They said, hey, we've got 70 countries now that can view, and there's not going to be any difference between what you make. So if you're in the Philippines and you're viewing, you're going to make the same amount of money as someone that's in the US and viewing, the same amount of money as someone that's in the UK and viewing, and what have you. And we held it as a big win. And now here's my conjecture. I think what happened is a company being in pre-launch made a misstep. It happens, okay? Made a misstep. They turned on all these countries, and then what came back from some of the advertisers was, hey, we've got all these people that are viewing in certain countries, but there's not a lot of activity coming from this specific country or that specific country or what have you. And so what THW Global then had to come back and do is punt. And it's not fun. It certainly isn't fun for yours truly when we say something on a webinar and it's happening, you know, people are viewing from 70 some odd countries, and then all of a sudden, they essentially had to stop viewing in a number of countries. Now, I don't even know what countries outside of the U.S. right now are viewing and can see the ads and what have you. I don't know. I have no idea. Okay. So, crap. Well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Okay. Especially for those of you that are living in an area where you can't view, and so you're not earning by viewing. You want to, but that may not be the case for you right now. All right. So, what happened is a group of leaders got together, went to corporate. Now, I was not in the discussion. I did get an email saying, would I vote for this particular proposal or what have you? And I said I would, and I gave some contingencies and what have you. And it didn't matter because there was enough other folks that voted. All right. And so what they did, they being some of the field leaders, is they petitioned the company to say, hey, look, we've got this mass amount of folks that have filled out the surveys, that were already viewing, that were excited about viewing, and now all of a sudden they can't make money viewing in their country. And you take somebody who's in Malaysia, it may be that a good amount of people that they've referred are also in Malaysia. All right. So if you were in Malaysia and you had referred somebody in the U.S., the person in the U.S. could view, and you could override their viewing. Okay. But that did nothing for you if you were in Malaysia. And then if you have a large team in Malaysia, you couldn't override as they were viewing because they're not viewing. Okay. And so what do? Do we hold our heads down? Do we say, crap, this didn't work? Do we say, man, some of us have been here since mid-June, and here we are now in November. What is that? That's a 6 month. Here we are almost 4.5 months into it. Do we just say, man, that's a lot of sweat equity, cut, man, forget this THW Global thing, and we walk away? And obviously some people may have done that. Or do we say, okay, I see a bigger picture? Because we have no idea what would have happened had YouTube done this model, will pay you to view, back in February 2005. Chances are they would have screwed some stuff up too. We don't know. We weren't there. Okay? What we see now is a very mature system being YouTube. But THW Global is that little baby that's what happens when a baby's 4 months? Can't even really lift his head or what have you. Okay? That's kind of where THW Global is. All right, so what happened is they petitioned for a new income stream, and that's what I want to talk about here, okay? Because I want us all to participate with this particular income stream. So bear with me. Let me make sure I've got my stuff ready to go here. Okay. Which, by the way, everything that I just shared, all right, we launched just last week. We launched our reverse advertising system that we call RAS, and she is kicking pure butt. Get your mind out of the gutter. Yeah, Katootie. That's right. I hadn't said Katootie in a while. Katootie is your backside. Yeah, she's kicking Katootie. Yeah, she's kicking Katootie. Okay, Raz is kicking Katootie. Okay. All right. So now let's go. Give us a moment. I want to cover this new income stream and why I think for our audience, this gives us a way for all of our folks, and particularly. Oh, wait a minute. This is new. Bear with me. Okay. This is a way for our team to start generating some revenue without a huge monetary outlay. That's the key, because one of the challenges is because we do have such a large global disbursement of folks in THW Global as well as on our team. We're into the tens of thousands with THW Global. But I know, for instance, living outside the U.S., that Queen, I see folks that work a 40-hour work week and a fairly laborious jobs, and they may make what amounts to about $300 US. So it had to be something that was not going to break the bank, that someone that's making $5 a day, $10 a day, $15 a day in their native country could still do, even if it meant that 2 or 3 people had to pool together to get it done. All right, so here's what they did. All right, they came up with an e-learning product. All right, and the great thing about e-learning or a digital product is there's hardly any overhead. You know, once they put the ebook together, once you put the membership site together, you know, it's done. All right, and so they came out with a product. Obviously, there's got to be a legitimate product or service that's being offered. And for the next couple of weeks, you want to take care of this in the next couple of weeks, sooner rather than later. You can make a purchase of this particular product for $50, $49.95 in US dollar terms. Okay, there's a $10 processing fee, so let's call it $60 US. Let's call it $60 US. Okay, now this is what is referred to as a 3x2 matrix. All right, so anyone that makes the purchase, you can either make the purchase yourself, you can sell it to someone who's not in the network. It's just so much easier just to make the purchase, okay? It's a 3x2 matrix, and some people refer to this as a cycler. And I will tell you that these type of compensation systems, when they hit, they can go fast. They generate a lot of excitement. However, I will say what my experience has been looking at them. I've never been in a 3x2, so I want to give you that disclaimer right now. I've never been in a 3x2. They typically don't last extremely long. But here's why. Because normally when a 3x2 cycle starts, it's starting from scratch. You know, maybe they do a little pre-launch or what have you, but it's starting from scratch. The difference here, I believe, is there's already a million four that have come to the site. There's almost 700,000 that are actually registered that can be getting these messages about this particular program. And then, of course, you know, we've got a fairly decent size following ourselves. So that is going to allow, I believe, a lot of people to take advantage of the 3x2 cycler, and I believe it will have a lot more life than most of the cycler programs out there. And because of the sheer numbers that's coming through THW Global, this one part of the compensation plan could be, maybe, I don't know, a long-term part. It's a temporary solution until more countries can start viewing, until the revenue generated from viewing alone is more substantial. Okay, it could maybe, perhaps, all of my disclaimers, be a more permanent part of the compensation model that could generate revenue, you know, for a long time to come. All right. So now, what I want to do is I want to cover how this works. Okay. And I will say that there are some details I'm a little fuzzy on. So I'm going to give you those areas where I'm fuzzy. I'm going to say, hey, this is my conjecture. This is what I believe to be true. And if it winds up that I'm wrong, okay, you know, lay that at my charge. But you know, I didn't knowingly share bad information. Okay, so first off, let's cover what a 3x2 matrix is. Okay, a 3x2 matrix is where, you know, everybody sits atop of their own 3x2. All right, so this is you, let's say, and on your first level, there are only 3 positions that can be filled. Now, how can these positions be filled? Well, this can be filled from your personal activity. You referred someone to THW Global. They get the product that qualifies them to be in a 3x2 matrix. That can happen there. Okay. How else can that happen? You could receive spill from on high, meaning someone above you in your leadership chain has referred more than 3, and maybe somebody spilled on your first level or maybe your second level. That could happen. I will tell you, in all of our years being in this industry, when we talk about a matrix and we talk about spill, the one thing we always say to our audience is, don't sit back, put your feet up, and just wait on spill. I prefer to be a spill master. I prefer to be the dude out there that is causing spill I only have 3 people on my first level that can go there. Anybody else that I personally enroll that gets the 3x2 matrix qualified product would have to spill onto somebody else's in their organization. So I don't want us sitting back saying, oh, okay, I joined with Queen Twitter. I'm just going to sit back, cross my legs, and let her spill onto me. All right. Understand spill may happen for you. It may not. And let me tell you what we've always taught about spill. Okay. If you're waiting for spill, Queen, I don't know if you remember this. We hadn't done a matrix in a while. This is what we always said. Spill is for lazy folk. Spill, sitting back, waiting on spill, putting your feet up, waiting for somebody else, that's for lazy folk. All right. So don't bank on, man, it's all going to be spill. All right. Don't bank on that. If it happens, great. And it very well could happen for some of you because of the sheer numbers as you get into the matrix. All right. So here's what happens. The first matrix is a $50 purchase. Now that $50 purchase price is half price, and it's only going to remain for, I think, another 2 weeks. Okay. So I want all of us, if you're going to do this, do it while it's the $50 purchase price. All right. If you wait, then it's going to be a $100 purchase price, and it's still going to work, but it just means it was $100 versus $50. Okay. Add that other $10 that I just mentioned to it, $60, but $50 is what we're going to talk about from a commissioning standpoint. So here's what happens. All right. So here you did the $50 product purchase, and you got your first level full, however that happened. Oh, by the way, another way that someone could fill your matrix could be from beneath you. All right. So right now you've referred John, and John referred Mary, and Mary referred Sam. John, Mary, Sam. John, Mary, Sam. Okay. You referred John. But John says, man, foo-fooey on that THW Global thing. I thought I was going to be able to make $1,000 out of the gate. Well, not if you came to our webinars. We told you weren't going to make $1,000 out of the gate. Okay. All right. So maybe that's why you should come to our webinars. Okay. Because we're going to give it to you straight. Not just marketing. We're going to give it to you straight. All right. So John, Mary, Sam. John, let's put their names up so we won't forget them. I don't want to forget them. All right. So you referred John. John referred Mary. Mary referred Sam. Okay. All right. Now this is not in the 3x2. This is just in the normal way that the organization builds inside of THW Global. You referred John. John referred Mary. Mary referred Sam. Okay. Now here's another way that you could have someone in your 3x2. Let's say John says foo-fooey. He says crap on THW, and he said, I ain't putting up no $50. Forget them. All right, that could happen. All right, and he's got every right to do that. And if he does that, well, nobody's going to be upset with John. John made a business decision for he and his family, whether you agree with it or not. Okay. Now Mary, though she was referred by John, she says, you know what? I've been coming on these webinars, and that Queen lady, she's got 1 million folks following her on Twitter. That's why they call her Queen Twitter. That Doc dude seems to be an upstanding dude. I'm going to go on and I'm going to do it. All right. So now Mary does the $50 deal. All right. She gets she does it while it's still $50. Well, Mary could wind up being in your 3x2 matrix because even though John isn't, all right, because she's in your organization and she kind of spilled up. All right, instead of spilled down, she kind of spilled up. Okay. Same thing can happen for Sam. All right. So my point is, I want you to see what a 3x2 looks like. Okay. What a 3x2 looks like. All right. So the first matrix, $50. So everybody has made a $50 purchase, really $60, but $50 for the purposes of this example. So what this means is that when this entire matrix is full, the first level is full with 3 positions taken. The second level is full with 9 positions taken. Doesn't matter how these 9 got here. Doesn't matter how these 9 got here. You are then going to get a $100 bonus. That requires no recruiting. That requires no sponsoring. All right. This first matrix requires none of that. So if all of this happened by spill, though, I'm going to love you and call you lazy. All right. I just know I love you even though you're lazy. If that's how it happened, good for you. Okay. All right. All right. So you would get $100. Now, this person here, they've got their first level full. When their second level is full, they would make $100. This person over here, okay, when they have their first level full and their second level full, they would make $100. So at this point, what's been the outlay out of pocket for all of these folks? Let's call it $50 from a commissionable standpoint. $50. The $10 is the processing fee. $50. All right. So what essentially happened was there were 12 people that did the 50 plus you, 13 people that did the 50. What is that? 12 and 50 is 650. So $650 went into the purchasing of those products. Once your 3x2 is filled, you just made $100. Okay? Let's make sure we got that. All right? Now, the whole idea of a 3x2 and why these things can get electric and exciting is that essentially what happens for the what we want to have happen is the people that are in your first matrix, ultimately, those will be the folks when this person here, all right, let's say this is Mary, when Mary fills her 3x2 matrix, she's got 3 on her first level and 9 on her second, then she is going to follow you into the second matrix. She is going to follow you into the second matrix. And let's say this is Paul here. When he does his 3x2 and his is filled, all right, he is going to follow you into the second matrix. And these folks will follow Mary and follow Paul and so on and so forth. So essentially, you could have the same people in your first matrix that when you graduate to go to matrix number 2, they follow you in matrix number 2. So it's not necessarily brand new people, okay? And then ultimately when you graduate to go to matrix number 3, you have people following you into matrix 3. And so there's, I think it's 6 of these matrices. All right, let's go back and see. I think there's 6 of these matrices, okay? So let me show you really quickly, all right? We'll go back over qualifications in just a moment. All right, so now, Q1BP. Don't know what Q1 stands for. All right, but this is the first bonus pool matrix here. All right, so 3 folks on your first level, 9 folks on your second level. You get $100 once that matrix is completed with those 12 folks, 3 and 9, that have made their purchase, okay? All right, so you're going to make $100. Now, here's the part that is not completely clear. I know how these systems work. I don't know what the numbers are, all right? Normally what happens is for you to get into the second matrix, there is a purchase of another product. But that purchase from every one of these cycles I've seen is never more than what you just earned. So that you never really put out of pocket more than the initial outlay. All right, so I don't know. I don't know if the second matrix is going to be a $100 purchase or $75 purchase or what have you. But I can't remember seeing any type of 3x2, sometimes they're 2x3 matrix type cycler where to graduate to the next matrix, you had to spend more money out of pocket. The money that was spent comes out of your profit. So you pay for the product, but you pay for the product because you just earned $100, okay? They have not detailed. I don't see what the cost is for Matrix 2 or the cost is for Matrix 3. So that's my conjecture. That's my disclaimer there, okay? All right, so now let's assume I'm right on that. And let's assume that Matrix number 2 is $100 or less, okay? Once that is filled, you're going to make $500. And then you're going to want to graduate to matrix number 3. And once that is filled, you're going to make $2,000. And then you're going to graduate to matrix number 4. And once that is filled, you're going to make $5,000. And then you're going to graduate to matrix 5. Once that's filled, $25,000. And in matrix 6, $100,000. So that you can make a maximum of $132,600 through those matrices. And if it works, the way every other cycler I have seen works, your out of pocket was the $49.95, assuming you did that within the 2-week window. If you did it later than that, you can do it later than that, but it's going to then jump. This initial purchase in Matrix 1 is going to jump up to $100, okay? So this makes sense to go on and do that, with this first wave. Okay, now, there are a couple of qualifiers. I want to hit those real quickly. There are a couple of qualifiers to go from Matrix 1 to Matrix 2 and 2 to 3 and 4 and 5 and so on and so forth. But they're very, very simple, okay? And I want to cover these because I know someone hit me, and when they first read it, they had a misunderstanding. They're like, oh my gosh, I got to recruit all these people. And then when they went back and they read it again, they said, oh, that was easy. That's simple. Okay, so here we go. All right, let's see. Let's make that bigger. Okay. So every IV, if you're new, stands for International Viewer, okay? Every IV enters the Q1, don't know what Q1 stands for. Maybe someone does. Q1 BP matrix. Once it is filled with 12 IVs on 2 levels, an IV will earn a $100 bonus pool and move to Q2 BP. This is the second matrix, okay? Now, give me a moment. I want to get to, there were some qualifiers. I want to get to the qualifiers. Did I miss it? Hey, Queen. Unmute if you would. Didn't we see some qualifiers? Now, you know what? I did know that they did change this right before we came on to the webinar. So I wonder, did those qualifiers go away? They really weren't big anyway. I don't see it anymore. I'm going to refresh it. Bear with me. Let's see. Queen, I don't see it. Yeah, maybe they took that away. I'm cool with that. So maybe that's not there. Okay, well, if we see the qualifiers again, we'll come back and say, hey, they were real simple. But basically what the qualifiers were was that to progress to the other matrices, you had to have so many people that you had personally referred to THW Global. And like to get to the 6th matrix, you had to have 50 personally referred folks in the THW Global. And you first see that, and you're like, oh my gosh, 50 folks. Well, my RAS folks aren't going to have an issue with that. But only one of them had to have purchased this product, So it was like, oh, I can get 50 people to sign up for free, all right, and one of them purchases the product. That was basically, each one of these other matrices had like a recruit requirement. I think you had to have 2 to get to matrix number 2. One of them had to have the e-learning product, but I don't see that now. So maybe that is not the case. I don't know. Maybe they thought better of that, which would be great. The simpler, the better. Okay, so let's just go with what we see here now. And if we have to make some changes, of course, we'll communicate that to our audience. So essentially, here we go. So this makes it very easy to talk about then. IV enters the first matrix. They fill that with 12, 3 and 9, 3 on your first level, 9 on your second level. Doesn't matter how they got there. You make $100. Okay. When the 12 IVs who also move into your second matrix fill those levels. So now basically you've got your 3x2 in matrix number 2 filled. Now you're going to make $500. It's probably easier just to do this right here. Okay. Now you're going to make $500. All right, so I'm assuming, my conjecture, I'm assuming to be in matrix number 2, there's a purchase of something that could be as much as $100. I don't think it's going to be more than that because, again, with most cyclers, with every cycler I've ever seen, the whole idea was small outlay, get some buzz, get some electricity. Folks come in with a small outlay. Once you cycle, you get, $100 in this example. Now you're able to make a purchase to get into matrix number 2, and that purchase price was either the same as what you just made, or maybe it was less than, so that you actually walked away with some profit. Okay, all right. Then you go to matrix number 3. Folks follow you in matrix number 3, $2,000. Then you go to matrix number 4. Folks follow you in matrix number 4, $5,000. Matrix 5, $25,000. Matrix 6, $100,000. Okay. Now, there's also a matching bonus here. All right. So anyone that you refer, if they get the $100 from their matrix bonus, you refer them, you're going to make $20. So what if you have 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 100 folks that get their matrix bonus, whatever that number is, times 20. When anyone that you refer gets to the second matrix and they bonus there, you get a 20% matching, or $100. And you can see 20% matching, 20% matching. Now, there were some qualifiers for all of that, and I don't know. I don't see that either, Queen. For the matching? No, here it is. Here it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is still here. This is still here. All right. So to qualify for matching bonuses in the first, second, and third matrices, you as a personal sponsor have to be qualified with the $10 power leg, which is a different product, different compensation system. Basically, there is... Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay. So essentially there is a product. It's an e-learning product. It's $10 a month. I think you can now cover that. I think you can do that in the back office now. It pays for the $10 a month. Before, we were having to pay for 3 months worth of access, or 30. So let's call it $10 a month now. All right. So if you don't have to have this to make money in the matrix. You have to have this or be qualified with this, meaning you either own it or you've sold it to somebody else. Much easier just to buy it, in order for you to get the 20% match. Okay, let me say it again. You don't have to have the $10 e-learning course, $10 a month e-learning course, in order to earn these commissions here. Okay, you do have to have it if you want to be qualified for the matching bonuses. All right. So if you say, well, I can't, again, let's say I'm talking to somebody in a country where even coming up with 50 or 60 US dollars might be a little bit more of a challenge. And you say, well, let me just do the matrix right now. All right. Well, you are able, that just means that you're not going to get the matching bonus. All right. I'd rather you do, if you had to choose between one or the other right now, I would say do the matrix side. Because you have the potential, although we're not going to bank on spill, you've got the potential of spill. There's going to be a lot more excitement with that than the power leg. I'm sorry, the power bonus product. I do want us all to get the power bonus product. Okay, but in terms of if someone is having to make a financial decision, the matrix to me is going to be your best, your bigger bang for your buck. Make some money there, then come back and do this if you have to. You might lose some matching bonuses. I'd rather you lose 20% matching bonus than lose this right here. Okay? All right. Now, in order to qualify for matching bonuses on Q4, Q5, Q6, all right, so that's right here, then you've got to be certified. And certified is a few $100s. I don't know what the price, I know it was started off at $995 was the $995 US dollars was the initial price. They did like a little special for $495, then it went up to $695. I don't know what it is now. We have never stood on the rooftops and said, hey, everybody go out and do the certification piece. Okay. However, by the time, if you see that you're getting close to finishing matrix number 3, that's probably a good time to start looking at that certification course if you haven't done it by that time. Okay. I don't feel like anybody needs to rush on that now. Okay. So here's what I'm saying to our audience. We don't know what YouTube would have been like if YouTube had done the same type model in its early stages. Most of us were introduced to YouTube when it had a little maturity. YouTube got bought out by Google like 18 months later. So now all of a sudden you had this huge cash infusion with Google. So there was, they had, really, multi-billion-dollar company buying them out. Okay, I think they bought YouTube for $1.6 billion. All right, so we're not YouTube. And I don't think we're ever going to necessarily be YouTube. YouTube is so far ahead of us, and they're owned by Google, one of the top 3 biggest companies in the world. But in our niche, the home business arena, nobody's really doing it the way that THW Global is telling us they want to do. Now, it still remains to be seen. Will they fully execute? They may not. And that's just the nature of business. All right? They may not. Even if they don't and you do this matrix bonus, what's your financial risk? If you do it in the next couple of weeks, $50. If you wait after a couple of weeks, $100. And so one of my mentors taught me this years ago. He said, when the potential rewards are great, all right, the potential of 132, I'm not saying you're going to make 132. What if you make 22? What if you make 17,000? What if you made 200 and your outlay was 50? That's still pretty darn good, okay? When the potential rewards are great, don't be afraid to take the limited risk, okay? All right, so real quickly, so let me show you, if you wanted to do this, how you would do this. I'm going to go to my test account. Okay. Now, some of you are in countries where you're not able to view, and so you can't. You may have some challenges going to the video platform. So here's what I want you to do. I'm just going to walk you through this, and then I want to tell you a little bit about RAS, and then we'll get into some Q&A. All right. So what you're going to do. Give me a moment. All right, you're going to go to your username.thwglobal.com. Okay, that's going to bring you into your rep site. All right. Now, I always like to use a test system when we're doing webinars, so I'm going to log in with my my Joe Average Test account. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to log in, click where it says log in. All right, then if your details are already there, you put your details there, log in. All right, so here I am, okay? And I'm going to come over here to where it says e-learning. And I'm going to come over here to where it says matrix bonus products. All right, and what we just covered, let me see if it's here, Queen. I want to make sure that we don't miss any requirements. Queen. Now I see the requirement. Okay, now I see the requirements. It was on a different page. All right, so, okay. Let me hit these requirements real quickly. It was on a different page, Queen. That's what happened. They didn't update one of the pages. That's what happened. Okay, real quickly. Let's hit some requirements here. They're simple though, okay? So don't let that scare you. All right, so to earn from the $100 matrix, which is the first one, all right, your only qualification is to participate in the THW multi-matrix $49.95 product sale or purchase. Either you sell it to somebody who's not in THW Global, or you buy it yourself. Much easier to do the latter, just buy it yourself, okay? Now, in order to earn $500, in matrix number 2, you must personally sponsor 2 folks, and one of those has to have purchased the matrix product for by that time it'll probably be $99.95. Okay, look, one, you should be using our RAS system by that time, and so getting people to join you shouldn't even be an issue. Okay, and that's number 1. Number 2, even if you're not using RAS for whatever reason, okay, Think about it. If you know that $500 is going to be there, are you going to make sure that you register 2 people for free and that one of them, does the $50 deal? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Qualification for the third one is you sponsor 5. So you've registered 5 people for free. One of those has made the purchase. You registered 5 people for free. One of those has made the purchase. For the $5,000 matrix there, you sponsored 10. 10 have registered for free. One of those has made the purchase. All right, so you can see that these qualifiers, they're not, personally, I don't even know why they're here. Maybe they're legal. I don't know. Okay, because, you can register for somebody for free. And obviously, what this does is this helps to build your business, because hopefully these are going to be folks that are in countries that may be able to view right now, and which means that there's a totally different compensation with you earning on the viewing, so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So that is there, Queen. We were just not on the right page. All right. Don't worry about all this other stuff. Let this take care of itself. Just get the doggone first matrix qualified for $50. All right. All right, so here we go. We come back here. By the way, when they go up to $99.90, all right, which is going to happen in a couple weeks, then that first matrix, instead of paying out $100, is going to actually pay out $300. All right, so actually, I'm going to love talking about that part 2 weeks from now. I want you to get it for the 50. I want you to get it for the 50. All right, but a couple weeks from now, when we do our presentation webinars, this will be a big part of what we'll talk about. Hey, register for free, but here is what an outlay of $100 can do for you in our 3x2 matrix, okay? So, Queen, I think the 3x2 is going to breathe some life into our, we've got great life in our presentations now, but I think it's going to really bring some life into the presentations, with new folks coming aboard, because you want to get new people coming aboard because of our style and how we present and all that other good stuff. Okay. All right. So now, that's right. That's right. Let's see. What does it say that? Which will be a whole, it's in here somewhere. We'll talk about that as strategy, because essentially what's going to happen when you do that is we're going to be telling everybody, after you've completed number 1, go advance to number 2 and do number 1 all over again. All right. So in any event, so let's get you making this purchase. You're going to click to pre-order. You are under e-learning. The matrix bonus. You're going to click to pre-order. There we go. It's likely going to say, hey, you don't have enough money in your virtual account to purchase this product. Please select from one of the options below and add funds to your account. All right, it's going to have the $49.95 for the bonus product, the processing fee for $10. You're going to select this plan, okay? Then you're going to click where it says deposit funds. But we were already there. Deposit funds. Actually, I messed up. It already had this in here, so I'm just putting in the $59.95. All right, deposit method. All right, so right now there are 2 methods. There'll be others, but these are the 2 that are available now. You can do a cashier's check or money order. If you do that, then it's going to give you the locations. So if you're in the U.S., you want to send to the office in the U.S. If you're in Germany, Russia, Philippines, Brazil, so on and so forth, okay? Now, if you opt to go this route, please, 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 however you send it, if you're in the U.S., you can use the post office. You don't have to use FedEx or anything like that. But however you send it, make sure you get tracking, okay? So whether you're doing it through the post office, you want to make sure it's tracking. If you're doing FedEx, I think virtually all FedEx comes with tracking, I think. or UPS or what have you. You want tracking. Let me tell you why. All right. Somebody made a purchase of one of the other products. They sent it in. They did not do any tracking. Okay. And now they have not yet been credited with the purchase, and it's been a while. They didn't follow the instructions. So I need you to please follow the instructions if you're sending it in that way. So for instance, if I'm sending it in by mail, all right, I would click continue here. All right, I don't want to hit this confirm just yet, because once I do that, I'm not going to be able to go back and show you Payza. But when you click confirm deposit right here, there's going to be a form that you can actually print out. You can turn it to a PDF. The system will also email you. Okay, so your email on file, the system will email you saying, here is your order. There is a barcode that when they get your order, they can scan the barcode and know that it relates to your particular account. You will also get a message back here in your message center. All right, so you want to print that form out with your barcode. You want to make sure if you're sending in a cashier's check or a money order or what have you, that somewhere in there you're putting the information from that form. It's going to have your ID number. Okay, you want to make sure you've got your ID number in there. But when you send it, make sure you have some type of tracking. So if you don't see it credited in short order within just a few days, you've got something that says, hey, this was sent, this was received on this date or what have you. So the person didn't have any tracking. And so we really couldn't do much because there was no way to say other than here's the person and their name. Well, how many things have they gotten? And could it have gotten lost in the mail? It could have. We don't know because there's no tracking. So make sure you do the tracking, okay? All right, so now when you confirm deposit, it's going to take you to where did you send it, print out that form, and have a little barcode, and then just get that thing in the mail, get it with tracking, okay? All right, now, give me a moment. With Payza, you can do Payza. Click continue. All right, there is an additional processing fee there. That's because of Payza. What Payza does is they charge the recipient for receiving the funds. And so THW Global is passing on that charge to us. So what you would simply do is, now, if you don't have a Payza account, it's free. Go on and get a Payza account. And once you set up your account, and they'll ask you for some identification documents, maybe like a driver's license or passport, something to show that you live where you say you live, like a utility bill or something like that. All right, and those are verified pretty quickly. Once those are verified, you can tie, depending on what country you are in, you may be able to tie your bank account to Payza, and you can even use a credit card or Bitcoin to fund Payza. So this is a very quick way, particularly if you already have a Payza account. Now, I did get some folks who asked some questions because a few years ago, Payza went through some things with the U.S. There was Payza, there was Solid Trust Pay, and there might have been a couple other ones, but I know those two where Payza, I don't know who owns them now, but at that time they were owned by a company out of Canada. Solid Trust Pay was owned by a company out of Canada, and the U.S. required that they go through each state to get some type of licensing, some type of stuff with all the new red tape that the U.S. has with all of its financial stuff. And so that actually gave Payza a bad name back then, because those who were U.S. account holders couldn't access their accounts Maybe they had money sitting in Payza. They couldn't get to the money while Payza had to basically shut down U.S. Operations until they went through all of the processing. Well, there were some folks out there, some bloggers out there, I won't even mention their names. Some of you know who I'm talking about, that they immediately seized and they said Payza was a scam. And so I've seen a few people with THW Global saying, hey, I saw some stuff about Payza, and man, I'm not doing business with them. They're a scam. No, what happened was they had to go through some processes. Now, they had some companies that were doing business with them, Payza, Solid Trust Pay, and what have you, that wound up not crossing all their I's, dotting all their I's, crossing all their T's, like some of the revenue sharing models like Zeek Rewards. All right, Zeek Rewards used Payza. Zeek Rewards used, I think, Solid Trust Pay. So some of these systems that were very in vogue for a spell, a lot of people made a lot of money with those systems. And one of the payment processors used was a Payza. So I know Payza is in a fight with the Zeek Rewards receiver, whether the Zeek Rewards receiver guys, the legal people that took over Zeek Rewards are saying, hey, you owe us money. And they're saying, we don't owe you jack. So they're fighting that. I could care less about that, okay? I just said that, so if someone says to you, Payza's a scam, because someone hit me, someone that follows us said, hey, hadn't you heard the news about Payza? They're in a lot of trouble. Well, what they're talking about is something that was years old, and it's a legal thing, but they're not in trouble. They didn't do anything wrong, okay? All right, so in any event, you decide how you want to do it, move forward, and real quickly, and we'll start rounding third on this. This was an email we got today, so let me see if there's anything pertinent. If you have not done the power bonus, that's a $10 a month part, I think that extension was just a few days for you to maintain your spot in the power leg. All right, so if you want to go and get that done, definitely get that done. The big thing, though, I want to stress for our audience is the $50. Now, let's see what this says. The first 3,000 IVs that get, also remember that only the first 3,000 I will get. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't see this. It said only the first 3,000 IVs are going to get the 50% discount. I didn't see that part. So if you're going to move on that on the 50% part, you need to do it quickly. Whether you're doing it with Payza or whether you're doing it with sending it in by mail. Move on that quickly to get get it with. I can't get my words out for the $50. Okay. Is that what this is only a guarantee? All right, they're also doing a guarantee for the first 3,000. They're doing a guarantee. Yeah. So they're guaranteeing that even if the pool doesn't do what they thought it was going to do, that if you're one of the first 3,000, you're going to get the pool $100. You're going to ultimately earn that $100. So you basically have no risk. All right. Is the bottom line there. All right, so let's do that, guys and guyettes. That one, we're standing on the rooftops and we're saying, we're screaming it. Let's do it. All right, let's see. Queen, did I miss anything? Your order needs to be in by 11. By 11:04. I'd go and do it tomorrow. Go do it tomorrow. Okay. If you've got Payza, do it tonight, okay? And let's see if there's anything else here. Did I miss anything? If you're doing Payza in times past, some of you may be sent straight to, let me see. You sent to their Payza email. That was before they loaded up Payza in the back office. Do not send money via Payza to their Payza email. Use your back office. Use your back office there, okay? And Queen, I think we got it. Do not use Payza Direct anymore. Think we got it. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. And real quickly, I just want to go real quickly and take a look at, just talk a little bit about RAS. My gosh, it's kicking butt. Kicking Katootie. That's what I'm supposed to say. That's right. She is kicking Katootie. Give me a moment. Okay, so one of the things you're going to get. So listen. Let's put this up here. This is where I want to ask. This is where I want to do a poll. Let's do a quick poll. I need everyone voting. Let's do a quick poll. Everyone voting, please. You're going to vote right there on your screen. Bear with me. Just one poll question we're asking tonight. If I can get to my poll, what's going on? All right, now this is going to be related to RAS. This is the RAS question, okay? All right, so you're going to hit the radio button that corresponds with what best describes you. If you already have RAS, you're going to click that. If you don't have RAS, but you're going through the process, you're going to click that. You're still waiting for a RAS link. Wow, a lot of you still waiting for a RAS link. Okay, we'll address that. You do not plan on getting RAS. I'm going to be very honest with you. If you don't plan on getting RAS, you can come to all of our webinars. But if you don't plan on getting RAS, I'm going to probably get on your nerves. Okay, because what we've always been saying to our audience is your business is not your offer. Your business is you and your following. And there is nothing that I've seen in the marketplace in 20 plus years that allows you to build a following like RAS, the operating system behind RAS, the mother system behind RAS. Nothing. So, you are welcome to come to all of our webinars. There will not be one webinar I will do about THW Global that will not mention RAS, because it's not about THW Global. It's not about ABC. It's not about DEF. It's not about the offer. The offer is important, but offers come and go. Offers change all the time. Offers let us down. What you want to build, your real business asset, is you. You want to always be working on you and your following. Now, you might go through the RAS system and it may not be for you now. You got to, put the resources together to get it. That's different than saying, hey, I'm going through the system and I'm working that out. Okay, so I just want to make you aware of that. If you invite anyone to come on to our webinars about THW Global, guess what they are also going to hear about? They're going to hear about RAS. I want to let you know that, so that if you invite somebody to come to our webinars, they're going to hear it, okay? And the reason they're going to hear it is because, as we've said from day one that we started doing webinars related to THW Global, we even said then, it's not the offer. The offer's important. Offers come and go. There are a lot of great offers. We'll be even producing other funnel systems to promote other stuff, because we believe in multiple streams of income. All right, so, and a few of you have no clue what the heck RAS is. Okay. Okay. All right. So, wow, a large number of you are still waiting for your link. All right. So really quickly, let's just talk a little bit about what RAS is real quickly for those who don't know. And I want to show you some things that's happening in RAS real quickly. Good. Okay. All right. So real quick, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. I'm going to write on my whiteboard real quickly. Okay. So RAS it stands for Reverse Advertising System, or RAS for short. 3 years ago, it'll be 3 years, I think, next week. All right, 3 years ago, I was very fortunate to be introduced to a mobile marketing platform. And some of the folks that are on the webinar today, some of the folks that are now a part of our RAS community were also beta testers of that platform. Some of them even before I was a beta tester. And what we saw blew us away. Now, what we've known is that if you're going to be successful in building any type of marketing enterprise, you've probably heard this, you must have a list, okay? You must have a list that you own and you control, meaning you own and you control and that you control the messaging that goes out to that list. So that if you want to send them a message about ABC offer, DEF offer, GHI offer, that you can send them that message. When you have someone joining you in THW Global, and then we're going to go a little bit over time tonight, not going to apologize for that. I want to make sure we get you all this information. All right. When you have someone join you in THW Global, you're going to see their name and their email address. That is not your list. Okay. Sure, you can take that email address and you can email them. All right. But that is not your list. I found that out the hard way. 2003 to 2006, I'm promoting a particular offer, network marketing company, more traditional network marketing company. Primarily, we were doing it offline. We had a team of several thousands of folks. We saw some handwriting on the wall that led us to suggest that things were not going to go well. We had the opportunity to be a part owner of a network marketing company. And so I printed out my genealogical list. Back then, a lot of companies would show you more than just your personally enrolled. They would show you, you know, if it was a 7-level organization, they would show you all 7 levels or what have you of names, email addresses, maybe even phone numbers. Now, I was never going to go and start calling people that I didn't refer or that I had not had some connection to. But when I had to resign my spot with the company in order for me to be part owner of the new company, so my attorney said we had to do. And so I had this list, and I was getting ready to call up my personally enrolled, which was, you know, vast, probably well over 100 folks. Maybe over 200 folks, all right? And I was going to email them, and I was call them, and my attorney said, you can't do that. And I was like, why can't I? This is my list. He said, no, it's not. I said, yes, it is. He says, no, it's not. Look, you're hiring me to be your attorney. And with your terms and conditions, when your people, and he's talking to me as an owner of a network marketing company, he says, when your people bring people into the system and they get their names and their email addresses, that's not theirs. That's the company's. That belongs to the company. And he said the only way that you can contact any of those folks without the potential of having an injunction filed against you, a lawsuit filed against you by your previous company, the only way you can do that is you are going to have to show that someone opted into some type of list of yours, like an email autoresponder. Now, I had an email autoresponder, but I didn't really understand list building from a internet marketing perspective. So I had maybe a couple hundred folks of the few thousands of people in my autoresponder. So that's when I really learned, oh my gosh, you have to have a list that you own, not the company that you own. Now, you will always have to lease some type of system to have a list. So if it's an email autoresponder like Get Response or like Aweber, you're leasing that. But as long as you pay your lease, those leads are yours, and you can say whatever you want to those leads. So if you are in THW Global, you love THW Global, but you also have a weight loss offer and you want to present that weight loss offer to your list, you want to be able to control that messaging. So I get an email from one of our folks and they said, hey, over the last 2 weeks, my email list has grown to 14,000 folks. And I said, my gosh, what the heck did you do to build your email list to 14,000 folks? Well, I suspected that wasn't quite the case, that it wasn't an email list. And there's a system out there. Queen, you'll remember I sent you a link and I said, hey, Queen, we'll test this and we'll come back and see if it's worthy or what have you. And this is a system where, you know, as people join you, you can send a one-time message to people that are in this, you know, structure. And the young lady mistook that for an email list or a list that she owned and controlled. She doesn't own that list. She doesn't control that list, meaning she can only send one message one time. And if people don't respond, then she can't send another message, so on and so forth. So you have to have a list that you own and control. But it's more than just having a list. You must cultivate a responsive list. Some people have lists, but if they send out, let's say, an email to their email list, people don't open it up, okay? So you've got to have a responsive list. Now, in order to have a responsive list, you got to do a couple of things. Number one, you must communicate consistently. You can't send out an email every other week and expect to have a responsive list. You really can't even send out an email once a week and expect to have a responsive list. You need to be communicating with your list on a consistent basis. That's why if you've opted into our list, it's rare that you're not getting 3 to 5 emails from me a week. All right. And then the other thing you've got to do is you have to communicate value to your list. So it can't just be a pitch fest. It can't just be a, hey, join me, join me, join me. Or buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. All right. It's got to be something that you're consistently providing that brings value. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that the value you're bringing is specific to that offer. All right. People do business with people they like, respect, and trust. All right. So it could be sending out a video that is a comedic video where there's a clean comic and it puts a smile on people's faces, or something about pets, one of those funny things that pets do that gets a lot of traction on YouTube and what have you. It could be a personal development. It could be a did you know type of thing, just to get people staying in front of their face in a non-intrusive way so they start looking forward to your communication. And so this is why I'm saying, for those of you that said, hey, it was like 2% of you said, I don't have RAS, I ain't going to get it. All right. And I'm saying to you, I may not be your guy, and that's okay. And I love you and I bid you much success. But I don't want to see you continue to spin your wheels and spin your wheels. And it doesn't matter what the offer is. It doesn't matter if THW Global was paying $25 an hour right now, and that everybody who was viewing content was making $1,000 a month from viewing the content. It wouldn't matter if you didn't have a list. You'd only recruit a couple here or there. You would never be able to compete with somebody who's got a list, who's consistently communicating with that list. And so then you would get frustrated because you'd be making your $1,000 a month, but you'd be hearing about people making $100,000 a month, and you'd be wondering, well, why not me? Because one of the things you must have is a list that you own and control. And one of the ways you build a responsive list is to communicate consistently and communicate value to your list consistently. So what is RAS? Okay. RAS, by far not close, is the most innovative list building tool that is not based on email, but it's based on the most responsive of all, SMS text messaging. So instead of sending an email, I'm sending a text message. Now, why is that important? Because people wake up with the phone by their head. People, they have their phone with them everywhere they go. If they leave out the house without their phone, oh my gosh, they're all frantic. So when you send a text message to someone, 90+% of all text messages are open within just a few minutes of them being sent. In marketing, only about 5% of your emails will ever be opened up by those in your email list. You can have a 10,000 person email list, send out an email, about 500 folks are going to open it up. You could have a 1,000 person SMS text list, send a text message, about 900. So you could have a much smaller SMS text list, but yield much bigger results. Okay, so what happened was we saw this mobile marketing platform 3 years ago. We've been in beta for 3+ years, and finally the system has just gone live to the public. And what we were able to do is we were able to take this mobile marketing system and use it to build around any offer that we chose. So we could have taken the mobile marketing system and we could have called it RAS. We could have called it RAY or whatever. It would have been reverse Amway system. All right. That still would have been RAS, right? Reverse Amway system. We could have called it reverse Mary Kay system. We could whatever. Doesn't matter. what the offer is. And we will be launching other funnels that promote something totally different, because we want you to have multiple streams of income. We never want you dependent on one offer. We know what that's like. My gosh, 2012, we've got folks all across the world making money. Some of our folks had gone full time in the industry, paying all their bills from that one offer, and then something completely out of our control. There was a legal matter. That company did not dot the I's, didn't cross the T's. And in one day, that company was shut down. And I had a buddy of mine almost lose his house. He had gone full time with that company. And now all of a sudden, his income was completely gone. We vowed then we will never be beholden to any one company again. If I'm talking to you, if that is resonating with you, if you feel that pulsating through you, put a Y in your questions box. We will never be beholden to a company again. Instead, we're going to be smart business people, and we're going to build a portfolio of funnel-based systems with multiple offers, so that if one company disappoints us, oh well. We've got 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And not just a company, but a whole system. See, it's tough to build multiple streams of income without a system. Okay? So that's RAS, ladies and gentlemen. That's the first one that we're launching. All right? And you want to be a part of that. All right? So real quickly, some of you said you don't have a link and you're waiting for a link. Some of you maybe have done this. Last week we had an adoption party. And we got out as many links as we saw. If you still have not gotten a link, if you're waiting for your referrer, you know they are in process, you know they've gotten RAS, then connect with your referrer. If you are an orphan, a THW Global orphan, meaning the person that referred you to THW Global, you have no idea where they are, or you've attempted to communicate with them about RAS and they're not going to go through with it or what have you, then you're going to send an email to reverse advertising system at gmail.com. Now, if you did this a couple of weeks ago and you weren't on our live webinar this past Thursday, or you didn't send in something today, it could be that you sent the email and it just kind of got lost in all of the emails that came in. So I'm going to ask you to resend it. We've cleaned out all the ones from last week, and some quite a few came in today. All right, so send in an email, reverse advertising system at gmail.com. Put in the subject line, orphan. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to send you out a link of someone who's active, very active in the current RAS community. Okay. We'll go in, we'll say, this person's very active in the community, because we want you to have someone that you can connect with that's active. Now, here's the thing. We're going to provide leadership for the entire community, no matter who you get RAS from. We're going to provide leadership in the entire community, no matter who you've joined THW with. So when you go through the system, it is going to present the THW offer. All right, if a person doesn't have THW, it's going to tell them to go on and register and get THW, all right, global. You're not going to do that because you already have THW, all right? You don't need to re-register for THW Global. You're going to stay where you are genealogically wise with THW Global. It's just that maybe your referrer is not leveraging RAS and you want to, okay? All right, so reverse advertising system at gmail.com, subject orphan. Now, real quickly, I just kind of want to show you one of the things that's going to happen is you're going to have access to our surfboard. And this is where it's not just going to be me. It's not just going to be Queen. You're going to have folks like my buddy Mark. Mark is one of the earlier beta testers. He even precedes me. So Mark here, he's just giving us some information. He's saying, hey, he's getting about a 40% opt-in rate. Mark, that is kick butt, man. 83% of the folks that are opting in are going through our application process. You'll understand that as you go through the system. And then when a person actually does the application and they view the presentation, he's getting 50% of them that are actually getting the offer, getting THW Global, and getting RAS from him. And he's saying these were about the numbers I saw about 2 years ago. So he's not surprised at that. So when you come in here, all right, here was me where I made a post here to remind everybody about our webinar. You've got folks like my very dear Vernetta and I, we've been in business together for 13 years or something like that. So she just got into the system and she was introducing herself, and immediately you had folks that were saying, "Hey, Vernetta, how are you doing?" You can post your questions here. Here is my buddy Foy. We've got some phenomenal training, some training that we've never released. All right, what I would consider premium content that's in the system. And one of the things is that we introduced to our audience an automated traffic system. Well, all you got to do is go and buy the traffic, give them your link, and they start sending traffic to it. Foy just saw this training yesterday, day before, something like that. He's already ordered his first traffic package there. He's getting 500 visitors to his site. He says, my traffic just started, had 2 looks and opt-in already. All right, so he's already, I think, did he show me? Or maybe that was Mark. All right, and so you'll have folks saying what they're doing that's working. If people have questions, maybe, by the way, those of you that already have RAS, if you've got questions about what we talked about the matrix, I may not get to all your questions tonight that's in the questions box. Guess what? Come in here into the community, post your questions, okay? Let's see here. Here we've got somebody who's welcoming their new person. So now Kirkland Lakes is going to come in. He's going to see people saying, "Hey, Kirkland, welcome to the family." He's going to make Kirkland feel like he's part of the family here. Now, just think about this. What if you are an orphan? You don't know who your sponsor is. You don't know where to go for support. Now we're not THW Global Support. We're here to support your business. We can't answer all THW Global questions. But now all of a sudden you come into a community. Now you could say, well, yeah, you could do that in Facebook. Well, no, we've tried that. We did that in Facebook. And then we saw what happened. Facebook gave us the slap, and they shut our account down for about 90 days. And it's not that we did anything wrong. We had moved from the U.S. outside of the country, and they wanted to verify that we owned the account because we were coming from a totally different IP. I submitted all the documents they asked me to submit within like 48 hours. It took them 90 days to clear my account. So with the Facebook group, I couldn't make any posts. I couldn't help you in that Facebook group. The other thing with the Facebook group is some people can sneak into the group, get into the group that are not of like minds. And then they start posting, they start spamming about other opportunities, or they start coming in there and using wrong language, or they start, just crying about stuff. And sure, there are going to be times when things happen and we're not excited about it, but we're going to always deal with things in a professional way. Give me a moment. Here, Charles is saying, I've got 2 opt-ins. They're moving lightning fast to the system, complete at 95% in less than 6 days. Man, RAS rocks. Well, sometimes you just need a little pick-me-up, and you come in here and you're going to get some pick-me-up. You're going to get some training. Give me a moment here. I got to find Jerry. Anders, again, another beta tester, and Anders may be in a country that's not viewing. And one of the things that he said is, look, even if we can't view, the income stream that RAS presents is so huge, all right? So, and we've discussed some of that income stream, but inside of RAS, we've got a 3-part training series to really help you get why you must have RAS. And the folks that have gone through that training series will probably see some of them here. Let's see, give me a moment. Real quickly, look, Jerry did a traffic campaign. We're really big on paid traffic. His own source, it wasn't a source that we recommended. I don't even know what his source is, but he's already gotten, he's gotten 94 opt-ins, all right, into the system. See, that's more important than 94 people registering for THW Global. Why? Because now those 94 opt-ins are his. He controls the messaging going to that audience. Now, we have an autoresponder system that is immediately when someone opts in, there is a series of autoresponders that starts to work on Jerry's behalf. All right, it's starting to communicate with his prospect. So even if he's not there, he doesn't have to be there. So much of this is automated. But the reality is, those 94 opt-ins are his. If he's promoting ABC weight loss offer and he wants to send a link to those 94 about ABC weight loss offer, he doesn't have to ask anybody's permission. All right, that, ladies and gentlemen. And the other thing is, one of the ways the system is going to pay, and I don't have time to cover this in any great detail, so I'm going to be starting around third here. I'm well past our normal time. All right, one of the ways the system pays is the system has what we call a lead redistribution system or program. Okay, don't have time to cover it in great detail. Just know this, that for every lead you garner, somebody opting into your system, that lead could be worth $2 a week for you. Once the lead redistribution system starts in earnest, and those of you who are already a part of RAS, you're going to hear me talk about this a little bit more because I was able to test some parts of it, and I've gotten 4 or 5 people that have gotten RAS from me and have joined me in THW Global with that test. I'll talk to you more about it on the inside. It might not be tomorrow, it might be the next day. Someone in RAS, just remind me, it probably won't be tomorrow, but remind me by Thursday, hey, Doc, you said you were going to tell us about, how you got 4 or 5 people that actually joined you in RAS, joined you in THW Global because of the lead redistribution system. I'm in test mode with it, okay? All right, but what's going to happen is that every lead that you have could be worth $2 a week for you. So Jerry's got 94 new leads. That could be, what is that? That could be $198 a week that he could earn, even if those people never join him in THW Global, even if those people never buy RAS from him, okay? Now, is he going to earn $2 per week for every subscriber? Probably not. Probably not. All right, but that potential is there. And then ultimately, probably a few months down the road, as RAS gets even more traction, that figure is going to go from the potential of $2 a week to $4 a week. All right, so what the system is basically doing is it is going to reward you for doing what you have to do to build a business anyway, and that is get leads, get opt-ins, okay? All right, and so here's Jerry saying he did a solo ad campaign, a couple solo ad campaigns. He had 360 visitors. This is crazy. This number here is just, I never would have thought he would have come anything close to this. He's got 94 people that opted in. Those are his leads. Those are his leads. Powerful. Really quickly. I want to get to Carolina real quickly. So you can see, I mean, there's a lot of, Paul, welcome to the family, buddy. There's a lot of folks that are, there's already a lot of excitement in RAS here. All right, here's a question. Somebody had a THW question about the power leg. What does that mean? And you can see, here was his question. Anders had a question. Anders was someone who was a beta tester, but he wasn't in THW Global. So THW Global is brand new to him. And here we were, you see. This is Doc, that's me. We're answering his question. We answered it in detail, all right? Someone just watched RAS Big Picture where they really understand RAS. They say, oh my gosh, that's powerful, I got it. Boy, keep on, wow. They keep on. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. What I'm loving is that we are getting duplication. All right, I'm seeing people that I know have followed me for years that have struggled. All right, look at what Rick says. All I can say is wow. All right, people that have struggled, and they're starting to get people come through the system. The system does all most of the heavy lifting, and they're getting people to take action, joining them in THW Global. They're getting people to get RAS from them. Anytime someone gets RAS from you, that's a $100 commission that's going to be paid out to you. Anytime someone gets RAS from someone that got RAS from you, they'll make 100. You'll also make another 100. Okay, give me a moment. Yeah, so here Carolina said, Doc, I just joined. I can't believe I've already made money. This is incredible. Well, Carolina, she took action. She had someone to go through her link. They took action. I spoke with the developer today. Monies have just started coming through where people were sending in their funds to get the system and what have you. So we'll be talking about commissioning very soon, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who already have RAS, those of you who've got people that have gotten RAS from you, you're going to be seeing some commissions very, very, very soon from that, okay? And then once that happens on a weekly basis, you're going to be seeing commissions from activity that happened the previous week and what have you. Okay, so once again, if you don't have RAS, if the person that is following us has RAS, you get their RAS link. Okay, if you're not sure, go ask them. Hey, are you following RAS? All right, because it's not network marketing. There is a very powerful compensation element. We could build a 6 or 7 figure income with it all by itself. But we want to make sure that people are connected as much as we possibly can genealogically like they are in THW Global. If you know that your person is out of the loop, not paying any attention, what have you, then shoot us an email, reverseadvertisingsystem@gmail.com. Last thing here, I spoke with a developer today, and keep in mind that this gentleman has built marketing systems over the last 15 years. One system he built, when they first got started, they had 35 people that got the system. And in the space of, I don't remember if he said 12 or 18 months. So I'm going to say 18 months. In the space of 18 months, that initial core of 35 folks, collectively, they did $200 million for the company that the system was promoting. Now, so what he would do in times past is he would build a marketing system around a particular offer. Okay. And they would keep doing that. And then if something happened with the company, then he would then seek another offer and he would build a system around, that particular offer. Well, what his system now has evolved into, folks like Mark and folks like Anders and myself and a few others that were beta testers very early on, and we essentially purchased a license that allows us to build out funnels, but I'm not limited to just building out a funnel for one offer for just THW Global, okay? So those who follow us and get what we are doing, okay? And what we're doing is we want to position you so that you build a long-term, sustainable business with multiple streams of income. I normally have this on a chart, and I don't have it, so that's why I'm doing this, talking slowly. All right, you build a long-term, sustainable business, meaning it's you and your following. You're always working on building your list, building your following. All right, with multiple streams of income. So you're never beholden to one offer. One offer disappoints you. One offer goes out of business. One offer gets bought out and things change. One offer, the owner dies. One offer, the owner gets divorced and loses the business in the process. Everything I just said to you is what we've seen in this industry in 20 plus years. We've seen an owner die and then the new owners come over and screw it up. We've seen an owner, Tahisha Noni, go on sabbatical. All right, go on, I guess, a religious sabbatical, all right, for a couple of years. New people come in, screw up the business, all right, mess it up. We've seen companies like Mona V do exceptionally well for a time, and then in an effort for the company to raise money, they take on investors. The investors have more stake or ownership in the company than the dude who started Mona V, and all of a sudden they want things done a certain way, and they have the voting power. So now he doesn't have the same. We saw the same thing with a company called Agile. Man, they came out of the gate, they were kicking butt. But in order to raise capital, the company took on investors. The investors had control of the board, and they wanted certain things done a certain way. They weren't necessarily network marketing people, and they made decisions that were not good for the field, and it basically imploded. We've seen stuff like that happen. We've seen an owner die. We've seen an owner get divorced, and as a result of the owner getting divorced and all the stuff that happens with that, we've seen co-owners where there were 3 owners or 4 owners. One company doing well, there were 3 owners, 2 of them were brothers. There was another guy who was a part owner. They had some dissent, and that went away. I know that. I was a part owner of a network marketing company. There were 5 of us, 5 families. 3 of us were on the same page. 2 did some stupid stuff, and it killed the company. Okay? So, if you follow us, in time, you're going to develop multiple streams of income, doggone it, across multiple niches. So we're not beholden to one freaking company. And as people join you in RAS, and they see how powerful the system is, when we come out and we say, here's funnel number 2. You already know how the system works. It's the same system, just a different back-end offer. And then you're going to say, okay, now I've got 2 offers using the same. Now, that one won't be called RAS. It'll be called something else. But you're going to log in the same place. All right? Everything works the same. It's got a totally different offer to it. By the way, I'll give you a hint. No, I can't give you too much of a hint. Okay. I'll give you this hint. That offer is designed to get you to $10K a month, and our target is to do it in 6 months. Okay? Well, I'll just wait until that comes out. No, you don't want to do that, because if you do that, then you're going to be starting fresh when that's out. You want to have RAS now. You know how RAS works. So now, when you're doing a traffic campaign like Foy is doing, you can go to a traffic provider and say, hey, I want to send a certain amount of visitors, and let's send half my visitors to RAS, half my visitors to the other funnel. Then you can see which funnel actually produces the most profits for you. And so now you put a little bit more resources towards the funnel that's producing more. Then ultimately we're going to have a third funnel. Not right away. All right. We'll have our first 2 funnels, get you making money there. Then there's going to be a third funnel. And then there's going to be other folks, not named Doc, that are leveraging, that are also funnel creators, like Anders, like Mark, like a few other folks that may be in the system now. They may come, if Mark comes out to me and he says, hey, Doc, got a funnel. I'm going through Mark's funnel. And that might be another opportunity for our folks. So ultimately, the game plan is for you to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 funnels, so that you now have multiple streams of income across multiple niches. And whether a company does this right or not, it does not impact what it takes for us to live an enjoyable and comfortable life. If you buy into that vision, put a V in your questions box. Put a V in your questions box. If you get it. There we go. Good. I was going to say, what are my V's? But now I see them. Okay. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I round third here, I am going to take some Q&A. I need to go and check on my wife first, though, before I get into Q&A. If you're in RAS, just do me a favor. If you're already in RAS, any questions that you have, just post them in the surfboard for us, please. Okay? And we may not get to all of them tonight, obviously, but, you know, I can go back through the surfboard tomorrow. And it's not just me, you know. So if Queen knows the answer, Queen might be there in the surfboard answering. If James knows the answer, if Renetta knows the answer, so on and so forth. So, and so going forward, that's what I want to have done is, if you have RAS, instead of posting a question in the questions box, post it in the our RAS community. That way, when we answer it, it's answered in text, and people can look at your question. Because if you have a question, they probably have a question too, and they can look at the answer, assuming that we have the answer, so on and so forth. Okay, so Queen, I know you may have to go, what I'm going to do real quickly is I need to go check, make sure my wife's okay, and she's going to tell me how long I can stay on the call. Okay, because I know she's got treatment in the morning, very early in the morning, so we've got to be up very early. But I do want to have a chance to address a few questions. So bear with me. I'll be right back. Queen, if you can unmute, I would appreciate it. If you see some questions that you can answer, go on and do that for me. I would appreciate it. If you're still here, I know you may have had to leave. Hopefully you're still here. Okay, all right, Queen, I'll be right back.